It's 8 o'clock. You've done the bath, the books, the water, the second water, the hug, and the other hug. And somehow, 45 minutes later, they're still calling your name. And you're sitting on the stairs wondering how bedtime became the single hardest part of your entire day. If your nights have turned into a 2-hour standoff, I promise you, it is not because your kid is broken or because you're doing it wrong. Bedtime resistance almost always comes down to a handful of very fixable things. I'll walk you through what's really going on, using the exact moments you'll recognize from your own house. And then, I'll hand you the simple routine that finally ends the battle. Stay with me for that last part, because the fix is the opposite of what most exhausted parents reach for. Let's start with the thing that quietly sabotages bedtime before it even begins. The hour leading up to it. We take a kid who's been running at full speed and expect them to drop straight into sleep with no runway. Picture it. It's 7:45. There's a tickle fight on the bed or a tablet lighting up their face. The lamp is blazing. Everyone's giggling. Then at 8 o'clock sharp, we announce, okay, time for sleep. But their little body is still buzzing, heart rate up, and that bright screen has been quietly telling their brain it's the middle of the afternoon. A brain that revved up can't just slam on the brakes. It needs cues that the day is ending. Lights coming down, screens going off a good half hour before, voices getting softer, your own energy settling. The mistake almost all of us make is keeping the lead up loud and bright and then acting surprised when calm doesn't arrive on command. Give the evening a downhill slope into sleep, not a cliff. But here's the one that catches every loving parent completely off guard. The endless one more. One more story, one more drink. Check for monsters. One more hug. It looks exactly like stalling, and it drives you up the wall by 9 o'clock. But for a lot of kids, bedtime is the richest, most undistracted one-on-one time they get with you all day. And they are simply not ready to let go of it. Be honest for a second. How many of you have been held hostage by just one more story while you're running on fumes and your kid somehow looks more awake than when you started? Drop a yes in the comments, because here's the reframe that changes everything. They're usually not trying to manipulate you. They're trying to keep you. And once you see it that way, the fix becomes obvious. Fill that tank on purpose. Earlier, 10 minutes of unhurried, phone down, cuddle and talk built into the routine means they're not fishing for your attention at the door, because they already got it. The mistake is reading every bit for connection as pure defiance and going colder, which only makes them cling harder. Now this next one stings a little because it's on us, not them. Every single time they call out from their room and you come back with another answer, another sip of water, 30 more seconds of you have just taught them one thing. Calling out works. And kids are brilliant at repeating whatever works. So over a week, the call-outs don't fade, they multiply. Here's the part that really matters, and it's genuine science. The reason this habit digs in so deep is that the payoff is unpredictable. Sometimes you come, sometimes you don't. And that occasional reward is the single most powerful way to lock a behavior in. It's the exact same mechanism that makes a slot machine so hard to walk away from. You are, completely by accident, running a tiny casino at bedtime. The mistake is the long back and forth negotiation and the repeated trips back into the room, each one quietly feeding the very thing you're trying to end. There's one more culprit, and it hides in plain sight. Unpredictability. Think about how bedtime actually goes across a normal week. Some nights it's bath, books, bed. Some nights you're wiped out and skip the bath. Some nights there's a show. Some nights it's straight down. Some nights dad does it completely differently than you do. To your kid, the whole thing is a moving target. So every single step becomes something to test and negotiate. Because who knows, tonight the rules might be different. Predictability, it turns out, is not boring to a child's nervous system. It's safety. When the sequence is always the same, their brain starts powering down on autopilot before they've even reached the bed, because it knows exactly what's coming next. The mistake is winging the order night to night, or letting one fun exception quietly turn into tomorrow's brand new argument. So after all of that, here's the fix that ties it together. And it's almost insultingly simple. You build one short, predictable wind-down routine and you run it like a track on repeat. But here's the real secret about a bedtime routine that actually works. It isn't clever. It's boring. The same few steps, in the same order, at the same time, every single night. Pick 3 or 4 steps and never move them. Say bath, 2 books, cuddle and talk, lights out. Front load the connection into that cuddle so their tank is full before they hit the pillow. Give a clear, non-negotiable last. The last book, the last sip, so there's no grey area left to argue in. And for the call-outs, use what's sometimes called the silent return. You walk them calmly back to bed with almost no words, no lecture, and no eye contact. Every single time. It's boring, it's unrewarding, and that is exactly why it works. The stalling stops paying off, so it fades. Do me a favor right now and save this video, so it's sitting on your phone at 8 o'clock tonight when you actually need it. Future you, standing in that dark hallway, will be grateful. One honest warning. This won't fix everything on night 1. Give it about a week of boring, unwavering consistency before the magic really kicks in. So let's pull it all together. Give bedtime a real wind-down runway instead of a cliff. See the one more for the bit for connection it usually is. And fill that tank early. Quietly stop rewarding the callouts. Keep the routine so predictable it's almost boring. And front load the connection so they're not fishing for you at the door. Now I genuinely want to hear from you. What is your kid's signature stall? The surprise extra drink? The monster check? Or the deep philosophical question that only arrives at lights out? Tell me in the comments. They always crack me up. If this handed you a plan for tonight, subscribe, because next time we're answering a question that stings every parent. Why does your toddler save their biggest, ugliest meltdowns for you and act like an angel for everyone else? The answer might completely change how you see it. I'll see you there.